Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sephiroth, and today we are continuing our deep dive into these weapons and staves that you can look forward to using in your playthroughs once you've accessed the mod Colorful Magic Fixed. These items are made available here by my mod, Vendors for Colorful Magic Fixed. And we are going to start our little deep dive with this little gem called Earth Hammer. As you can see, it's got a lovely little texture to it that's almost molten in its quality. And without further ado, let's see what this baby can do. Oh, that's fun. So it's particularly power attacks that will give you this cool kind of earth-shattering effect. And if you notice I don't do a lot of damage, that is because I unwisely put in the experience mod, so my character is technically level 1, while still having level 100 two-handed, which means this guy is a lot higher in level and difficulty because I brought him in always. But at least that gives us an opportunity to see all the pretty things that you can enjoy from the Earth Hammer. It releases a powerful explosion with power attacks. That being said, we're going to move on to the Ebony Giant Axe, which releases energy blasts with sideways power attacks. So let's see, that's just our regular power attack. And we've got our sideways. Oh, okay, so this is another one of those weapons that our Colorful Magic modder is going to have to tinker with because we are going sideways. Our sideways power attack is not releasing an energy blast. However, the weapon still looks amazing. Two-handed, looks like something I would not want swinging towards my head. So at least we have that. At least it is pretty. At least it is a pretty weapon. Next we have the Ebony Scimiter, which doesn't have anything to it aside from okay, the weapon speed on the Scimitar, that's interesting. Okay, so he didn't put an enchantment on it, but it is a wicked fast weapon, and it's a dagger that I mistook it for a sword. But it does 15 damage a pop, which is not bad. Then we have the Epitaph Plate. Does 75 points of extra damage to dragons, with a 30% chance to stagger the target. Let's see. I don't know if this... Oh, there you go. There's your stagger. Yeah, the one annoying thing about some of these bigger two-handed weapons is they take a long time to swing. Particularly if you're a mage type like me that just likes to hurl fireballs, some of these bigger weapons can feel a little slow, but I have talked with other players that really love the idea of just grabbing a two-handed thing and smashing their way through everyone in their path. Moving down the list, we have the Extended Staff of Magnus. Hurls a lightning bolt that does 40 points of magic damage. Absorb 20 points of health, magicka, and stamina per second from the target. Oh, that's... You're gonna die so fast. If I can charge it. How long does this thing take to charge? Oh, it's a channeling. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Fair warning, a lot of these colorful magic spells and items, they are so powerful that the modder made sure they had a fairly long load time. Like, you noticed how long it took for the Staff of Magnus to do its thing. It's just a way to balance out a little bit, although I don't know that this really constitutes as balanced, but you get the idea. So this is definitely one that I would want for fighting dragons, because you can just reach out with your energy from a distance and start chipping away at their health. The absorption, of course, is top-notch. And obviously, you're not going to have 11,000 gold at the start of the game unless you cheat. And if you're already willing to cheat, then this weapon is for you. If you're not willing to cheat, then this is something you would probably save up for modded boss battles of some kind. If only you knew someone that was working on colorful magic bosses as we speak. That might come up in another video. Moving on, we have Firebrand. Burn the target for 20 points of damage. Targets on fire take extra damage. Also burns trolls and animals for an additional 10 points of damage. So this is particularly a toy you're going to want to use with animals. For this demonstration, we're just going to be setting another hapless victim on fire. But we can go into first person for this. That's pretty cool. The only complaint I've really seen about these colorful magic weapons is obviously the modder really liked his effects. You can see the big flaming effect coming off the sword. So it takes up like a third of your screen in first person. So that's one viable complaint that I have seen. However, the fire effect is cool, and for some reason I'm having flashbacks to the flaming swords that you used to use in Asheron's Call. That's a very, very old MMORPG. Probably I think that's the first one I got into when I was a teenager, but the flaming sword effect here is kind of bringing that back to me. But that is one of my most beloved games ever from my childhood, so it's not an unpleasant memory in any way, shape, or form. Next we have the Forest Guardian's Bow. Oh, that's funny. I'm going to have to... I don't know how to... I might have to figure out how to make this thing a little smaller. It's super zoomed in, and I'm not quite sure how to shrink that, but I will look into it. Anyway, Forest Guardian's Bow. Target is 100% weaker to poison for 10 seconds. So this is obviously meant to be used with either arrows that are of a poison type, or arrows you have poisoned yourself, but obviously it also comes with a poison effect, which is already doing its thing. Bloop, as our opponent gradually gets poisoned to death. This is actually one of the... there's a boss called Forest Guardian, and this is one of the loots that he drops. So there is, I think, the extended staff of Magnus, as well as the Ebony Giant Axe are also weapons that are dropped by bosses in Colorful Magic, so that will give you another way to get these items without necessarily, obviously, cheating. Or saving up for 11,000 gold, you know, whichever. Next we're going to have a look at the Freeze Blade. Target takes 30 points of frost damage to health and stamina. Oh, it's a two-handed bugger. Oh, that's cool. I like that effect. Just like instant ice shrapnel. That's fun. Hi-ya. Anyway, plus the blade looks pretty cool. I'm gonna have to work on the proportions here, because this is a two-handed blade, but I thought it was one-handed because of its size. And then we had the scimitar here that's a dagger, but I thought I was one-handed, so I do need to tweak that. I'll figure that out. Alright, next we have the Freezing Wave Staff. A freezing wave that does 70 points of frost damage per second to the target's health and stamina. Target moves at 50% speed for 10 seconds. So it sounds almost like the... Oh yeah, it lasts for at least a second, maybe 2 seconds. And then it slows their movement for another 10. That is nice. See, I like that frost is always kind of a tough thing in Skyrim because so many things are Nord or have some kind of frost resistance or just flat out frost immunity. So it's nice that if you are going to be dipping into frost, this weapon actually reduces their movement speed, guaranteed, regardless of how much resistance they have to frost. That kind of, it helps you keep that distance away from things that want to slaughter you in melee. Next, we're looking at the Galatyn sword. While the sun is up, targets on fire will take an extra 30 to 55 points of damage. And we can also just admire the fact that this looks amazing. I love the light coming off of the hilt here. That is cool. Look at that. That is pretty. Yeah, some of the effects in this mod are one of the reasons why I decided to try and bring it back. Alright, let's see what... Oh, there we go. Boom. Alright, so when the sun is out, you get some extra fire damage. There you go. And it looks awesome. Cool. Alright, next we have the Giant Greatsword. This weapon can attack multiple targets at the same time. For that, we will need multiple targets. Yeah. Now, let's see, that was only one. Sometimes when you're trying to hit multiples, they have to be lined up just right. You know, close together. Which can take a little practice. Oh, there we go. Yep, that hit them both. And that one did too. Cool. So that's a fun little feature. Colorful Magic adds in a couple an extra layer for each style of play. So a lot of the two-handed weapons you'll get from Colorful Magic can actually do damage to multiple targets, which makes sense when you're dealing with something really big and two-handed. If you get through one guy, you're going to start cutting the other. As well as adding in, for example, there's blue fire in Colorful Magic that also removes the enemy's armor to a certain extent. So keep that in mind when you're getting into some of these other fun, pretty weapons, that they also will have spell effects that will affect the gameplay, usually in a way that makes you feel like a god, which is why we're playing this mod to begin with. The Giant Sword is next. This weapon also can attack multiple targets at the same time, and this one is only one-handed. Let's see. Let's try it. That time it was only one.
You're going to pay, Outlander.
I'm not even sure who we hit that time. Alright, come on. I need you guys nice and close together. Nope. So it is a little tricky to get the timing right. Oh, yeah, I think that time we got them both. But even if you're only landing the second target half the time, that's still an increase in damage output that is helpful. And it also kind of rewards you for manipulating your targets into getting them into, into tight quarters, like falling back in a dungeon to a hallway so that they are forced to stand next to each other, and then you have your heyday. We're going to go ahead and cook through one of our little demo guys here with Goldbrand. Deals 22 points of fire damage to the target. Deals double damage to dragons. So we don't really have any dragons here, so we're just going to delay and fricassee this one right here. You know what? You're not dying very quickly anyway, so we might just move on. And Goldbrand, not a whole lot of fanciness going on here in the graphics, but it is kind of a cool gold textured katana looking weapon, which you can't really argue with. Next we have the Golden Sword. Burns the target for 25 points of damage. Targets on fire take extra damage. Not sure why that fairly basic enchantment was worth 1,000 gold. But that is pretty, and it is effective, and I do like that it has such a quick attack speed. That is really helpful. And I mean, the weapon's just a worthy mark. Look at that. That's beautiful. I feel like that's sort of a ceremonial weapon. Like this would be the required weapon to slay a god. You know what I mean? Whereas Goldbrand is like what you're going to do to kill peasants. Anyway, next we have Graham, especially effective against dragons. Releases golden energy with backward power attacks. I'm wondering if this is going to be one of those defunct ones. Well, let's see. So with some of these, you have to actually hit the target with the... There we go. Okay, so you have to actually hit the target with the power attack, which is tricky because with the backwards power attack, your character literally steps back. So you have to kind of manipulate the AI a little bit before you'll be able to actually land that hit. But it does actually do extra damage if you can land the backwards power attack. Which may imply that some of these other weapons that did power attack stuff that didn't seem to work might be because we weren't actually hitting the target. But that is for the modder to unravel and not us. We didn't need to actually drop that, but we were done with that weapon anyway. Next we have the Grand Sting. Releases blue lightning with power attacks. So we will just... oh, hello. That's fun. Nice. I like it.
Give it your best.
That's interesting that the blue lightning also includes a stagger effect, which is really helpful, particularly in one-on-one. That's the impact perk was something I always grabbed when I was just playing vanilla Skyrim, because you can't argue with the stagger effect, right? If you can just stagger the target every time you hit them, then they'll never actually be able to counter you, and they will eventually die. That's just the way of it. Anyway, we can take a moment to enjoy the textures of this particular mod. That is cool. You can see the lightning working its way up the hilt and down the blade. That is pretty. Nice. Alright, and then, oh, the Gravelord Sword. This is nice. For this one, you actually need a dead person. Where can I find a dead person? So this is like being a necromancer, but you can have zero magic. God. You can just dabble in necromancy. I'm not sure. I think... Oh, right. So it lasts 30 seconds, but it doesn't limit... It doesn't have a limit to the number of people you can reanimate in that 30 seconds. I'm not sure about these ones, though. I think these guys that... yeah. They literally is a different item in the game when you have one of these fancy, like, elemental deaths. These guys were frozen solid. So I can't actually reanimate those, because as far as the game is concerned, they're not actually people. Oh, but sometimes they glitch a little bit, and then you can raise them. Whee! Now we should have 3 different reanimation effects going. Yep, there they are. Yep, so they're about to run out. It's a fairly short time span. But, I mean, most fights don't go for more than 30 seconds. And when you use this against living people, it includes 20 points of poison damage. So this is a lovely little gem you can use to have the feel of a necromancer, but you could be putting all of your magic and all of your when you level up, you can put all your points into stamina or health, and still run around stomping over Skyrim, reanimating whoever you want. However, if you use the necromancy mod so that bodies can be reanimated multiple times, you really can have a lot of dead bodies to just continue backing you up, which I can honestly say sounds amazing. Alright, we're going to finish up with the green staff, which is a volley of poisonous bullets, causing 20 points of damage per second to the target. Which we'll try to demonstrate. Oh, whoa, that, interesting. That did not, that's cool. It had a very slow charge time. I did not expect it to react that quickly. On the other hand, I really did not expect, I thought these guys would be immune to poison, but that does not seem to be the case. But at least they're fighting each other, I guess. We'll try to pin this one down. See if the other one still likes me after being hit multiple times by my poison blasts. Okay, and are we friends? We're not friends. Not friends! Okay, your services are no longer required. I don't know why you are vulnerable to poison, because technically you are a corpse, but okay. Alright, so, my favorite of all those is definitely the Gravelord Sword, because I have a soft spot for necromancers. But let me know in the comments below what was your favorite weapon that we witnessed today. Feel free to like the video, subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will talk to y'all later. Take care.